Thank you so much for being here. I want to tell a little bit about what the YWCA does. Many of you may know a little bit more. I know Diane Porter knows a lot, and we're glad to have her here. But the YWCA has been a part of the public community since 1914. And as you can see, we're getting ready to celebrate our 100th anniversary. That's really exciting. We hope that you all will be able to be a part of that. As we are getting prepared right now, we have a young lady who is getting all the archives that we have stored, organized, and so on. So we're getting ready to plan another very nice party. So we'll have to invite you all back for that. But the YWCA has been a part of this community for a very long time. And over time, the Y has surveyed the community over these years to figure out what the needs of women and children are. And back in 1978, YWCAs throughout the United States were opening up domestic violence shelters. And likewise, the YWCA here in Pueblo opened up our doors in 1978 for domestic violence and homeless shelter for women and her family and her children. And we've been operating that program ever since. And I was talking to Charlene, and we wish that we would be out of business, huh? And the judge, I'm sure he wishes that he could retire long ago. But unfortunately, the need is so great. And we continue to be very, very busy with domestic violence in our community. And it's one of those things that it is a learned behavior, unfortunately. And I wanted to give you a little bit of history about what the Y has done, a kind of a big picture. And then I have a PowerPoint presentation I'd like to show you. Many of you may not have had the opportunity to actually see our shelter. So we'll give you an opportunity with some pictures. And then we have a couple of new programs, too, I'd like to share with you that you may not be aware of. Well, our shelter, we have a 30-bed shelter. We provide legal accompaniment, court accompaniment, counseling, both for the adult woman and the child. We have a licensed play therapist who uses sand and other play therapy techniques, and she's fantastic. And we offer that. All of our services that we offer at the YWCA are free. We have a place called Teresa's Place, and it's a domestic violence visitation and exchange center for those families who are court-ordered to have visits. And what you can do there is you can either do a visit where there's a security monitor and a security guard that goes into a joint living type room, do an exchange, do a visit, excuse me, or you can go to the center and do an exchange where one parent drops off the child and takes the other one to wherever they need to be. And that's our Teresa's Place. And one of the new programs that we have in our domestic violence programming is a group home we just recently purchased. It's going to be a safe house. It's an undisclosed location. We just recently purchased that just 2 months ago. We're very excited about it. It was a group home that was designed for those families and moms with children. At our shelter currently, we just are full to capacity. Right now, today, there's 14 women and 14 children. So that's 28, and there's room for 30. So there's not a whole lot of any room for anybody else to come in. And once we get this full, we are on domestic violence status only, which means that, unfortunately, we will not take any homeless women at this point. We refer them elsewhere to Posada or the Wayside Cross Mission because we are so full. And so we had the opportunity to purchase this group home, and it is a wonderful place for the moms with children to go. They'll be able to have their own room, and there's a basement that is completely child-friendly. You'll see the pictures. It's a great place. Right now in our shelter, it's very, very cramped quarters, and they have to share, moms with children have to share a room with other residents. So that's something new that we're very, very excited about. And then another thing on the preventive side, and we talked just briefly about that. On the preventive side, we have a brand new program called Safe Dates. It's a teen preventative program. We've been in District 60. We've been in all of the high schools in District 60 and all of the middle schools in District 60. And what we do there is teach them the Safe Dates curriculum. And what that is it teaches the children and students what a healthy relationship is and what an unhealthy relationship is, and how they can move forward in their dating relationship in a healthy way. We have so many young people that are maybe 13, 16 years old that are getting battered and beat up by their date, unfortunately. And so we want to be on the preventive side so that these young people do not have to do this. Just a quick story about that. There was a young gal at a high school who was dating, she was a freshman and he was a junior. And they were dating and for about a good semester. And she wanted to call it off because she realized, this doesn't feel right. He's very aggressive and possessive of me, and I doesn't feel right. So she tried to break it off, and well, of course, he got very upset and didn't like that, and so on. So he was stalking her, he was phoning her. Well, she had the Christmas break. She went back in January. He caught her, and she plays a winter sport. He caught her as she was leaving the women's locker room and grabbed her and shoved her in there and began beating her. We're lucky that there were other students in the girls' locker room. They came running out and told the principal and the local, the school counselor and security officer, and they went in and saved her. And she did press charges and came to the YWCA for treatment. And we're very fortunate that we've been able to go in there because she knew, she said, from her classes that we taught at that high school, she said, you know, after hearing your classes, she said, I realized when I looked on there as far as what an unhealthy relationship was, all of my datings and involvement with my boyfriend were all of those. And I realized I needed to break it off with him. And ultimately, that's what she did, and we're thankful that the Y was there to help her with that. Want to talk a little bit, one more program, and I'd be remiss, and Diane is going to kind of go, oh yes, I remember, our Y pool. Something very instrumental and important about the Y, and that is we still operate our pool. As far it was built back in 1936 and 37. It was gifted to us by the Thatcher family. They thought that the YMCA had a pool and the YW needed one too. So we do have our pool. Right now, the Parks and Rec Department is leasing and managing the pool for us, and they are leasing it to us. So that's been great for us, and we really appreciate that. So that is that consists of all of our programs at a very, very fast glance.